Hey guys, it's Tish with Reasonable Radiance back with another video slash tutorial or whatever you want to call it. This is bleaching some knots, gonna pluck, and these are some of the products that I'm using. This wig is gonna come out at the end being fully customized and ready to be installed. So I'm using the powder bleach clear all 30 developer, a purple dye, which is what I mentioned also in a previous video, just so that we can put together a nice mix. Now I'm doing this on a full lace wig. Oh yes, don't forget your gloves and your mixing utensil. I'm doing this on a full lace wig, and because of that, I'm going to mix together a lot of powder. Typically I do a smaller amount because I'm doing a closure or a frontal. Right now I'm doing a whole full lace wig, so I'm going to mix together a large amount of powder and kind of going to eyeball the 30 developer liquid solution. With doing that, you still want to make it very pasty. You still want to make it extremely thick so that it doesn't seep through, but in cases sometimes it does seep through. Don't forget to add your purple dye. Do a nice mixture until you get a nice thick putty consistency. So once you have it mixed really nicely, you're just going to spread it throughout the lace. Make sure you take a look at the front to see exactly where and how low you need to put it. Like we said before in a prior video, you do not have to cover the entire lace, just far enough of where the knots of the hairline of the lace reach. So try to do this as light as possible so that once you do put it on, it can try to leak through as least amount as possible. With this being a full lace, I do have it stretched on the mannequin head very tightly because on full laces, when you bleach the knots, as you'll learn in the future, the middle part is a stretchy mesh, and a lot of times it's really hard to get the dye down to the knots through that mesh. So I have it pulled very tightly on this mannequin head. So I'm going to just continue to spread this across the lace as light as possible, trying to make sure I cover all knots on the inside of the lace. So as you continue to spread, make sure that when you get to the back, you don't use too much bleach because typically the hairline is right a little bit below that adjustable band line. So all you have to do is eyeball it. If you can't see through it, just know it's right a little bit below, so you don't have to put too much bleach down there. Just continue to go lightly where it is right below. Now, right here in the back, you want to make sure you pull down that comb so that you can still get to the knots that's underneath it. It'll pop right back up, so don't worry about damaging it. A lot of people take their combs out anyway, so if you want it in, you can keep it in. If you don't, you can use a razor and take it out. Okay, so this is the part I was talking about that's a different material completely. I have just enough bleach left. If you could tell the difference, this material is like a mesh. It's definitely not see-through as much as the actual lace is. So I just go ahead and apply the bleach the same way, but I have it stretched out so that it can expose the knots a little bit more than it typically would be if it wasn't stretched out. So I'm just gonna apply the bleach like I was normally around all parts of this area as well. Okay, so now that it's fully covered, what we're going to do next is use some aluminum foil to wrap it completely around the mannequin head. Some people use grocery bags, some people use saran wrap. I like to use aluminum foil because it does process better. It heats up a little bit because that's what's helping process this whole thing with the chemicals and the mixture. So we're just going to secure that, not too hard. You don't really want to press it too much. I'm kind of pressing it, but don't worry about that. You don't want to press it too much. We're just going to secure it to make it bake in there a little bit. Okay, so you let that sit for a while. I say 25 to 30 minutes is what I typically do. But look what can happen. Not because of the time, but because of how tight I had it sitting on top of the mannequin head. I did it for a specific reason for the middle, but I knew this could possibly happen. Don't worry, ladies. I know this has happened to you before, and I've found several different ways to work this out to where it is no longer an issue. But I'm going to show you one of the ways today with a color correcting that I use with Adore hair semi-permanent dye. Now, look at this technique. You see these spots all over. We definitely can't keep these roots like this. It's for the lace to look more natural, for the roots to look more natural as far as the knots, not it to come off the roots looking like this. So we're going to take that edge brush. We're going to take the any dark color. I'm using velvet, black velvet, I believe it's called, through Adore, but you can use any kind of really dark. You can use jet black, you can use dark brown, whichever you prefer. And I'm just going to spread it on a paper plate. You can use anything to spread this on, another piece of foil or whatever you choose. I'm just going to use a paper plate, and I'm going to use my edge control brush, and I'm just going to dab it into this coloring just a little bit. You don't have to just go drooping it around. You don't want it drenched, dripping everywhere. You don't want to make a mess. You just want to dab it a little bit onto the brush so that you can initially start working it onto the hair to see what you're working with and how much you'll need going forward. So this is what I do a little bit. So as you can see, I'm just taking a small area, dabbing the brush over it, gliding it through a little bit, taking away a lot of that brassiness, the blonde that came through the lace. So it's really not an issue. I'm going to let that sit on there. And on this part, if you didn't use your gloves before, you know, if you're used to that bleach or if you don't really get it on your skin, it's not too bad. But on this part, definitely use your gloves because that coloring, especially with it being this dark color black, it is really going to stay in your skin or your nails. So you can just use the brush. I'm using my fingers a little bit there just to work it in a little bit more because when I first put it on, if you could see, it was a little bit heavy. So I'm trying to brush that through some other pieces of the hair so it's not just sitting right there clumped up heavy. So I'm just working it through a little bit right here. You can see I got a lot of little places that this seeped through since I stretched it the way I did. The middle came out how I wanted it, but the outside definitely had a lot of spots that needed to be color corrected. But it's not a problem because this is going to come out exactly the way I want it. Just watch. So as you can see on here, I'm just pretty much working my way around, filling in all the spots. It's fill it in pretty good. You see the roots getting darker. That's exactly what I'm looking for. The lace is still staying very natural looking. The knots are very natural looking. So I'm just going all around the back because it did leak through some of the back too. I'm going to work that in, make sure I'm reaching all the areas of the roots of the wig, so it's not going to have that brassiness that you see. As you can see it working in, you can see it's getting darker with every piece that I work through. So we're finished putting it all through. We're going to let it sit for about 20-30 minutes and rinse it. So this is how it came out looking. You can see no brassy roots. Right now I'm just sectioning off to show how I pluck my baby hair, because that is pretty much the next step. Everything is already looking very natural. I section a very, very thin area from the hairline back, and I pull the rest back in a ponytail or a clip. I have some flat tweezers, not the pointy ones, but some square shaped ones. And I pluck from the root. You see some people pulling, pulling, pulling. Don't do that because it's really not getting anything done. The hair really isn't coming out. So I pluck from the root. I stand in front of it so that I can kind of see it thinning out. And I hold the hair down firmly in front so that I can keep that apart from where I'm plucking. And as you can see, it's getting thinner and thinner. I know some of you are like, oh my gosh, she is plucking the hell out of it. It's going to be gone. Ain't going to be no hair. No, that's not how it's going to be because it's hair in the front. So once you pull it back, you're going to see that it's really going to overgo what all you plucked away to give that really nice, natural European hairline that's going to flow really good when you go to taking care of your baby hairs or not having baby hairs at all. So for the most part, this side is pretty much done. I have just pulled that little bit of hair I had in the front back just to see exactly how I wanted it. I want it a little bit thinner, so I'm just plucking a little bit more so that I can get it a little bit thinner and just to the point that I like it. Everybody is different. Some people like their hairlines thicker. Some people like them thinner than this. I like it like this, so this is the way I'm doing it. So you can pluck it to the desired thickness or thinness that you like. So I move over to the other side and I'm doing the same thing, parting over the smaller part. And yes, this is a tedious process. Sometimes it takes you longer. I've gotten down to about 30 minutes or so, maybe 20 minutes or so of just plucking. Honestly, maybe a little bit less, but in the beginning, it is going to take you a long time to start getting to how you want it to be, start having the look the way you want it to be. So just have patience. Some sides are going to be different. It's a little bit difficult for me right now trying to do the video in this position for you guys, just to let you be able to see it. But if I was able to do it like how I would typically do it, it would be a little bit more comfortable and a little bit faster for me. But go at your own pace, practice, and you'll love the results as you get better and better. So here is the finished result after I'm done plucking. This is how I like my hairline to be. I put my fingers under it just to see where the actual hair is. You can have a different color wig mannequin head. Mine is a little splotchy on top of the fact that I have a grocery bag on it from the bleaching that I was doing. So it's better for me just to have my hand underneath there. So I'm just checking through to see, is it anywhere else I want to pluck? Is it anywhere else that I feel I needed to touch up a little bit? And I'm just doing a once over. So this is how I like mine to look. Like I said, everybody is different. Everybody feels differently about how thick or thin they want their hairline to be. I like mine at this consistency, so let me know in the comments how you like yours. So once you have it perfect how you like, you can just kind of start lightly combing out all of that excess hair you tweezed out. It is going to be an alarming amount. You're going to be very surprised. Do not be shocked. That is just one small section that I just combed through. But you see all that on top of that wig? That is the hair that I had tweezed out and just kept pushing back out of my way. So now what I'm going to do is just, comb at it just really lightly over top. You don't have to really rake it through. Just comb at it. It'll start coming out really smoothly, really easily. It won't give you any issues. But you want to make sure to comb all of those loose hairs out to get all of that hair that was plucked out, so that when you shampoo, when you do any kind of styling, or even when you have it after it's installed, you don't have to worry about shedding and all kinds of hairs falling out every time you run your fingers through your hair. So you want to just keep combing out that excess hair to make sure it's not shedding later. This is a full lace wig from my collection at ReasonableRadianceHair.com. So you can check out that website. I have 613 and the new HD items, closures and frontals. Wigs are on the way, so place your orders there. You can catch me on Facebook, Reasonable Radiance Hair, or Instagram at Reasonable_Radiance1. I hope you enjoyed this video. Comment, let me know the next kind of video you'd like to see. Subscribe, share with your friends, share on Facebook, share on Instagram. Support your girl, try to give me some more subscribers, and I'll show you what I know how to do about hair. Thank you.